Etie for me mo bibi akwaba eba Melodies TV. So there is an open letter Senyo Hosi watro ede akwakoma the Chief Justice Gertrude Tukono. Na Senyo Hosi asemo a wo ka kire no ene se mamie save Ghana your democracy. Na nyama bi ni nyama bi a wo ye no ade wi a wan hwe ne ye a ebebo oman no. Now I want to read this open letter Senyo Hosi has written. For people who don't know Senyo Hosi, he was, I think, formerly Ghana omoma oil fango, the distributors of fango no. Na oil mupenyi bako ati asiye. Aside that in sono, nan saying ohwe senior individual bond holders. Abain ebeye domestic debt exchange program no na oye kone bako epenyi. Intino nan saying no, but first no you be na on time kasa ewo social issues. First na Senyo Hosi kasa it is related to maybe the pricing of fango ne Ghana ye kokra fango if you abrochi aba. But to share in recent times President Akufo-Addo ba no eya na enyama koso na entwa ya na waba abonti aba betre na adwen. Senyo Hosi aba betre na adwen senya make no. Inti asemo a woka ne say open letter to her ladyship Gertrude Tukono under the undo na me say under undo the work to save our democracy. Now yanking kind, and this letter is dated 30th October 2024. Say, I am a proud citizen of Ghana with little pride in the trajectory of our democracy. I am a father of 2 children who only have Ghana as their home and nationality. Just like many other Ghanaian children, they have full lifetimes ahead of them, for which reason I cannot be reticent about recent developments in our country. Ose oyeja owo mamienu na ne mamienu ene ono ankasa no Ghana ene ye omofie omo ni bebia omo manya ne Ghana na Ghana fo bebre nso wa ha omo ni bebia akọ oman ne bo a omo tim ontumi ndwane nkonkɔhye bebia na ne manso ewo nkwa edomo anim enu hunti ohun ne se enyama bi ekokoso wo Ghana nansen no ya hwe ye bebo oman no na opese ne ma etumi tena wo moman mu agi omu ani nti o kasa ewo nsem ne ho. Imagine people like Liberia omo free Liberia ye de omo ba betena Ghana, how they lost touch with their own country just because of war. Yes, yempese Ghana be do that level no. Or say as a people, our belief in a free, fair and just society after military experiments led us to adopt a constitution credited for our existing democracy and governance structures including the Supreme Court. So person try say Embra Ghana soldiers for babedi yesuwie ye ne san nyama no ni na ye experiment ye wie ne tena se ne hu se dabi se soldiers for bedi yeso pan de ayempe yenye kebi ma menkebi amemu tie ho ena ye nhyehyeye edi Supreme Court ne nyama ba betena ho aye ka se san nhyehyeye yi san nyama yi ejina ho pintin for kebi ma menkebi. I say, my lady, the utility and beneficence of these institutions and structures depend on the extent to which they satisfy the ideals of justice, democracy, and the rule of law. You should be worried if we, the people, in whom sovereignty resides and on whose behalf justice is administered, no longer believe that the judicial system upholds these ideals. Very, very simple. Asemwa Walker. Now, Asemwa Walker they say, Supreme Court a yedi esi hoyi ni na kebi ma minkebi ene se yedi obi asemo ma ne yedi no kware so ye kan democracy rule of law no inti se woye Supreme Court judge ana woye judge ne de wesi ho se wo hwe eye judicial system mu a na nkrofo sha se wo mo kasa se da bi yen trusted the judicial system a na tre se de ekoso no entwa ye Ghana focus yen believe the judicial system mu yen believe say wo mo uphold the ideals of a democracy there, then it is worrying. I say, my lady, it is concerning that according to the Afro Barometer reports, trust in the judiciary has fallen from 56% in 2012 to 35% in 2024. I am petrified that today 65% of Ghanaians do not trust the judiciary at all time, at all, whilst only 13% trust the judiciary a lot. There is a latest Afrobarometer reporter Abba Etre within 2012, by 2012, na majority of Ghana for AGD say odi asem court yebedi ama. That time na 56% of Ghanaians. You see, I sit here and I tell you, say, time bia NDC beba abemu bia, the Ghanaians have trust in the judiciary. Ya na ngrofo feel say meboa. 2012 year NDC time, 56% of Ghanaians. Inti now you Ghana for beye 10 emu 6 ye running the offer emu 6 AGD say was that time na judiciary ye juma pan. Inti no bi asemba no the court wonim say yebedi ama no. Wonim say na asem ye den kwan de yebedi ama no. Inti oni how. But ende latest Afrobarometer report say 65% ye running the offer uye Ghana for 10 7 say judiciary no omuntwa ye. Na emu 13% pen the trusted judiciary. Na 13% no ye running the offer. Na say ye 10 people are emu 1 pe uye Ghana for 10 nipa ba ko pe enoka so meje court edi meje Supreme Court edi say asem ko wa omo di ne fenchim. And it is a worry because mama wati asie say the Supreme Court is more like the pillar of our democracy. Executive no di omutumi sisi and legislature no di omutumi sisi ya. We ran to the court. Then they akwa do say court no mpo yen trust omo esi executive no judiciary legislature no dia. Not just say it's serious. And in every single country bia in Tokwesi was about my name no it starts and now one of the signs and they say the judiciary say chegu say. And to say respectfully, Madam Chief Justice, the evidence of this public delusionment in the judicial system has been playing out in public discourses for quite a while. Many, including me, believe the judiciary has been succumbing to the whims and caprices of one branch of government, the executive. So since I grow ekoso ewo judiciary no, I say agro no awo ye ni so ache. Na ono de wo gidi say judiciary no omoje orders every executive or a president eho. Ti the president ne pe eno ye. I say I am sure you have heard some of the most denigrating sobriquets deployed mambo word ni afacha me. Sobriquets deployed by some members of the general public to describe the once revered Apex Court, which you now heard from Unanimous FC to Wetco Center. We know the outcome center. Wetco. Hey. Senyor si ama judiciary din. Because this is here no edino. Sisi adie ye friend Unanimous FC biom sisi aye from Wetco. Na Wetco ne say we know the outcome. Na say ye nim de mo beka. Asem na ababetom nim no. Ye nim de mo beka de we know the outcome. I said the Ghanaian people continue to mock the predictable manner in which cases are determined by the Apex Court. In times past, such sobriquets would have been unthinkable. Sadly, this is the reality today. How did we get here? And this is what I keep telling you. So first, no, usrumpo se Supreme Court's bema ruling no be kasa ho. Bende, aseya kwa drew points where even judges and lawyers are speaking against judiciary and yes Supreme Court ruling. Only one court you will be for contempt. Hey, Chief Justice ruling our mind the first time no. Now, Kopeso Chinkrofu be for contempt and go back to me because on radio, on TV, a lot of people bashed her. A lot of people, but say onanga sampono one side you be for contempt, and that should tell you that deep down in their hearts they know. I say I believe you are aware that these pejorative descriptions of the courts are hardly in isolation. They stem from public objections to how the court has handled the task of divining the constitution. I say, you must have heard a retired Chief Justice say that the judiciary has become too predictable. If it involves persons from a certain political party, that is damning, Madam Chief Justice. So I say, what say? Say, Chief Justice, why you need you marry a wako? Or no crab abontia babeka? Say, sisi ade mo Supreme Court for mo ye too predictable a political case na beto mu nimpe yenim ade no be fa ba kuna asem ye do yenim be bia be fa ena o ka se sansem no a retired chief justice and the retired chief justice no kind me betra mo story Justice Ekufu meba. Let me show you the story. Judges have become predictable. And this was in this year, May. As the current judiciary has become too predictable. Justice Sophia Ekufu. I'm showing you the story so you see. Senior Hosi one boding, but this is the person. Justice Sophia Ekufu. Ti Senior Hosi Semwa Waka. Or say a retired chief justice. To me bien and no crackers as judges maba be so predictable when it comes to political cases. Yini baby amubediako. Eya debia eya damning. A same within. Or see your recent decision in the Afenyomakin versus the Speaker of Parliament case heralds a number of other cases before it that the public thinks resulted in desecrations of justice and even worse, perversions of our democracy. Ti wabose Afenyomakin ene abambag bendye. Aside the no cry no cases bebriaba Ghana for tenancy no more or more dream one as some more can say mo emrano mo buniti mo bumraniti must say Ghana mbra must say Ghana kebima min kebi cases are mwedi including Afenyomark and ye. Or say Madam Chief Justice, how did the Supreme Court assume jurisdiction in a matter that the Constitution clearly states under Article 99 belongs to the High Court? See, in the first place, Constitution say case we enko High Court. Eba ne say na mo Supreme Court na mo ba betena so. I say, how do you explain the supersonic speed with which you empanel judges to hear the matter when other similar public interest cases have been completely ignored by the courts? Ba ne say na mo tumi tena se intentema na me si obi a wo ye lawyer bia ehwe day a Supreme Court etena case we so. Send your motena so ntem no. We a lawyer now what say the processes here, file processes here. Obeti as say it was magical. Because according to reports, within 2 hours of filing the application for stay of execution, you empaneled busy justices, including yourself, on a day that the court hardly sits to hear the application and deliver the ruling. I pray my 7-year defamation case receives the same attention going forward. It is for the reason that some have suggested that the court was ready and waiting for the motion to be filed. Into waka say in 2 hours you to me file case. Emma mo judges amunim say ye nim say Friday mu nye juma. By that Friday no kra no mo ye busy. Mu to me frey eba betena case so edi case no within 2 hours. No senyo hosi kra no. 7 years ni defamation case eda mo Supreme Court enim obi egu ne ho fin. Nipa chronic case eda mo Supreme Court mo nim. Mo mpese mo be frey case no. 7 years ni. Na me sure say sa defamation case no. Senyo hosi defamation case ni sure say nipa kra osu no obekom na nipa ko ni MPP ni probably Indiana Supreme Court in person be free case no. Let's see. Senyo hosi defamation case. Yeah. Whether we get the story. So it was Manka Senyo Hosi against Kennedy Japan. Yanka Manka say MVP ni. Senyo Hosi against Kennedy Japan. Kennedy Japan ka sem egu Senyo Hosi hu fin. Ena Senyo Hosi ede Kennedy Japan e call court. O say 7 years ni Supreme Court en free case no. Aje na mi nim kra say Senyo Hosi on Kennedy Japan wa sem. Hey! As a MPP for Kennedy Japan damage control I am on. So 7 years defamation case no. And by omun fee. I say how did your courts Sia Sponte subvert settled legal principles by granting ex parte an order of stay of execution pending the final determination of the case when the plaintiff only prayed for a 10-day interim order in conformity with standard practice, which court grants an interlocutory injunctive relief on the basis of an ex parte application. Where is the justice in the exercise of discretion? Send me catch no. Afenyo Kenadi Asemko Supreme Court or say 10 days stay of execution 10 days on a year Abambagbin. Oh, Supreme Court judges, mo dia man say forever infinite to say dey eno obisa say eba ne sen na mo mutumi ba to that conclusion because obi ba court de wope na mo yama no unkom bro de wo no obisa ne so. I say, my lady, do you realize that the effect of your interlocutory order on grounds of the lack of parliamentary representation for the affected constituents has prejudiced the substantive case? And this is what I said yesterday. Semunya mobekaya yen konko di case no, but what Chief Justice ni Supreme Court judges ni semo mo aka case no mo edie. And I told you, it looks like no one is even talking about that. And the senior Husi is saying that in his letter. Because case no utie Supreme Court or say stay of execution. Nti afiance ye ba be di main case no. Now so afiance ye be di main case no tie nsem a wo kan. O tremu say it is wrong say ubeyi nkrofu ye free ho. Unni ho kwan say ubeyi nkrofu yi because omo representatives ya to abama omo a e wo say obi represent omo. And I say yenya di case in wie na Supreme Court judge or ti case ne so no kasa say dia. Then indirectly no ye di case no. And I am a day. Say people like Senior Husi have realized this and they are saying, Tiasemo work no. Say, sa order interlocutory order na odiato ho ne kra no. Unhu say prejudiced. It is prejudicing the substantive case. Or see, if you are so minded about the lack of parliamentary representation for the affected constituents for just a period of 80 days, why did the judiciary allow the biggest travesty of our democracy, the denial of people of Sao of parliamentary representation for 1,460 days? So see, say, and the year if parliament now say, Omonkro for 80 days spare aka, Omunya representatives are, what's an say, Emma Sao, in for Omu without, Motinase Masao for without a year representatives in parliament for about 1,460 days. I see the manner in which this Afenyomakin case has been handled radically depart from the philosophical and procedural reflections of law as known to many in the legal fraternity, including prominent lawyers affiliated with the ruling party who think that your decision was unacceptable and strange. Tutie Senyo Husin Semu Awaka, Senya mo handle Afenyomakin case. A man who say, even MPP for a woman so mechanical quarry crano, a young no mechanical quarry tre, a year or no Senor Hosino, say, case we dear, no quarry, dear moye ye dear in chaye. And I've said it. If there's one thing, sir, a phenomenon in case why a good a year Supreme Court in whom fin poto. I say, please do not say I am not a lawyer and therefore do not understand the law. As you very well know, this constitution was written by hairdressers, farmers, carpenters, and businessmen like me too. I say, my mom farm members say, yeah, no, yeah, lawyers, me, lawyer, and minty as the echo so as a dabi. Sa idea we are ye king, constitution a ye can one sem no, said the lawyers ne troye, hairdressers, farmers, carpenters, any businessmen, and a troye. I say, madam, you and your other respected colleagues on the bench of the Supreme Court do not need any reminding that the adjudication of cases and administration of justice, especially at the apex level, is a serious matter. It is one of the most serious counter-majoritarian forces in modern-day democracies. I was saying a crime on Namu say Supreme Court Namutina no man koko semu ko di agro. Eye nibre so na mo kwa koye wo. On mind be jina eye Supreme Court. Kebima min kebi jina Supreme Court. Ti say asemba bonim na mo di asem no te say agro so a na te say mo di on mind ni di agro on mind bokre emfa mo ho. I say there are over 30 million Ghanaians who have surrendered their judicial power to you to bind them irreversibly by the decisions you make. Expect that such power is exercised in a manner that reflects their ideals of justice, fairness, and the rule of law. Otherwise, our magnanimity in surrounding the power to a few of you becomes a fruitless gamble. Ghana for 30 million, and yate ye ho ase. Say ye di tumi be mo Supreme Court nsa. Na say ye di tumi hye mo nsa, na tre say ye wo gidie wo mumu say asemba mo bedi ne finchim. Na tre say ye wo gidie wo mumu. Se masem ye de, no obi pe so sisi me na me ba eba begina wani mu a, obe ka me dia eden ama me. O de mbra be ye adwuma. Na se Ghana fo ni na de sa gidie we ya hye omu. Na at the end of the day, wono won pese o de be ye adwuma, na tre say gidie no de nti akra na ye de hye omu. O say the prevailing public view that the court registry rushes into action only when a case affects the executive is risky for our democracy, to say the least. Of the three arms of government, the judiciary offers the best chance of stabilizing and furthering our democratic governance. Should we, the people, further lose confidence in it, our democracy, governance, and civility will become history, a trajectory that may be irreparable. For this reason, public perceptions of your work are just as important as the realities of it. In the same vein, the perception of your neutrality is also as important as your substantive neutrality. I hope that for the remainder of your time as head of the judiciary, you will do some soul searching, exemplify neutral partisan, and renew your commitment and loyalty to the people of Ghana, on whose behalf you have sworn to serve and do justice. Timameno embre wo to stress he hope say mistake ya waya atwemu yi embre na aka ama ono obetena se uye Kristo ni konyame anim na hwe wakomem na wa heboni a wudi na satra wa adwen omani gina so. My lady, please make no mistake, you are not in the eye of any storm. Rather, your actions have become the storm and Ghana in your eye. Ma me ne kwa so ko preach ye no o say she has now been in the eye of the storm. And I said that you are not in the eye of any storm. Storm na ye mo and na mo creating na Ghana ba be shim. Ti mo na mo ye basabasa ye no. Enya se basabasa ye nesi ene ye dia ba be hye wo ho. Dabi mo na mo ko se basabasa ye no wo Ghana ha. Thankfully, it isn't too late to re-engineer the path as you run your race. I say as you run your race and its end you face. May many make the case the justice, fairness, and truth were your days. G. Papa 2024. From the granny's kinky shed in British Accra and the founder of my farm in Adaklu, Trefe, I remain Senyo Husi. Into try PS, my lady Gertrude, while this may not shape well your mood, it is not my wish to get rude. Bass, my nigga, bass. Into say my lady Gertrude, while this may not shape well your mood, it is not my wish to get rude or have you booed. I am just that little dude in the hood to truth in the hood to truth in truth. Senyo Husi, aya dear, Senyo Kwesi Husi, aya dear, Oshe Senya. I like the fact that it is a very serious letter, but then you also found a way to add your youthfulness and all that. For anyone who knows Senyo Husi, you can send this to him. The person may trust Senyo Husi say, this is the first time I'm going to say this, right? The person may trust Senyo Husi say, my father is always going to be proud of you. My father will be proud of you. Now, the reason why I'm saying my father will be proud of you is say, Senyo Husi, when you were in SHS in Tema Secondary School, right? One Omaru Sanda, you passed through the structures and systems that me papa eshisha toho, and I would want to believe that it is one of the things that and they shape you. Amende wababe dani nipa wadane ewo wiasim ati asiye. Intino I myself I admire you from afar. Okay. For those who know Senyo Husi know say or your Tema boy oko school or Tema secondary school Tema school no, you know what I'm talking about. Intino Senyo Husi Senya Mekano. Yes, my father will always be proud of you for at least standing and then speaking the truth. At yasiye. And this few years no, you'll be a we now na so o kasa. Intino Montreal your comment box nimo.